said the team disbanded in 2004?
Yeah. They're a solid squad, but they won't be remembered, but easily forgotten.
Texas A&M?
Yeah. No, we're going to get into A&M. We've got a great show for you today. Timmy B is going to join us. But first, you have a little news on DeAndre Hopkins?
Titans and Chiefs working on a deal, finalizing a trade as we speak to send DeAndre Hopkins to the Chiefs. The Titans will receive a 2025 fifth-round pick that becomes a fourth-round pick if the Chiefs reach the Super Bowl and Hopkins plays 60% of the snaps. Tennessee will also pick up $2.5 million of the remaining $8 million salary. Didn't stay in Nashville long, boys.
Not now. You know what? I think that's a win-win for both teams. The Titans, you can see, they're kind of selling. They've moved on.
Or are they not
guys.
selling?
They've got, that is true. They've accumulated a lot of picks. I do, before we get in the show, guys, I got to tell you what happened to me this morning because it's just driving me insane. And not that there's anything wrong with having a lisp or anything like that. But I went on Wake Up with Mincy this morning, our buddy Ben Mintz from Barstool. And, you know, I have my setup in the man cave, like the studio set up, and I'm not technologically savvy by any stretch of the imagination. So our audio guy, the Rhinoceros, hooked it up for me. And if anything goes wrong, I don't know how to fix it.
What'd you do, dude?
I don't know what I did. That's the problem. So right before I'm about to go on with Mincy, I realized, oh no, like something's messed up. My mic's not working. So I'm like, all right, I'll just do it through my phone. And I guess the audio through my phone made it sound like I had a lisp the whole time. So I went back and watched it. And it's not like
you have a lisp.
No, I don't. It's not even like a little one. It's like heavy. Like LSU. Like I sound like Lou Holtz.
You have a lisp, dude.
No, I don't. Shut up.
I hear you talk every day.
I talk every day. I don't have a lisp. Not at all.
So does David.
David, do you hear me have a lisp?
I'm staying out of this, man.
Wait, why can't you just say no?
You have a little bit of a lisp, Jay.
Maybe I have a little bit of one, but it wasn't as egregious.
Chad, you agree with me, right?
No, well, let's talk about the way you talk.
It's not
the way
great.
you pronounce words
it's not
and
great,
things.
and I know I don't.
You have an accidental lisp.
I know,
Great
but that's what makes me authentic.
Great mustache, though.
All right, I know who I am. All right, you need to know who you are.
I know who I am.
You have a lisp. Why do you think you're so good at doing the Lou Holtz impression? It's natural for you.
No, see, now I'm gonna physically hurt
now
you.
you've hurt
So now it's my fault you brought it.
No, now you're just making stuff up. Tim Brando joins us today to discuss A&M's matchup with LSU, refereeing overall in 2024. We got a soundbite you don't want to miss. Plus, we give you our best early college football bets for Week 9. It's going to be a doozy, and we need to stay hot. I'm Jake Crain, and it's Wednesday with an I here at Crain & Company. I don't have a lisp. Texas A&M fans have been wanting this moment for so long. To not only be in the hunt near the end of October, but to be leading the hunt when you look at the SEC standings. The past early stumbles after having big expectations heading into the season have left that fan base a little uneasy. It would anybody. But so far this year, outside of the Notre Dame game, they've been the victor, the more confident team, and they've come through in the clutch. I know the schedule hasn't been the toughest, but that doesn't take anything away from it. Now, they're obviously going to be tested this weekend at home versus an LSU team that's hotter than a tanning bed on the sun right now. But the best question I think to ask is, how did they get here? What has helped propel the Aggies to this moment? And to answer that, I want to go back to something that we talked about and I said right before the season. What did you hear about A&M all offseason? The answer? Nothing really. No drama, no beefs with other coaches or multiple arrests. They were too focused on blocking and tackling. Mike Elko and this group aren't about creating noise. They're about tuning it out. This team is just about ball and honing in on what they do well, not how much NIL money they have or where the recruiting class was ranked compared to Bama's, because Elko has a way of getting his guys to understand that if you become obsessed with the process and not the production, we can get over that hump and finally finish. But getting to this point wasn't the ultimate goal. It's about getting past this point, breaking down the barriers and getting the results you want when it matters the most. We're going to continue breaking this game down schematically and fundamentally, and a lot of it does depend on which Connor Wegman shows up for A&M, the one we saw versus Notre Dame in Mississippi State, or the one we saw against Missouri. But if anything is for certain, It's that with this Aggie team, they won't let the outside noise cloud their preparation or drama dictate their mood. They're going to be out there each day this week, focusing on what they always do, blocking, tackling, and the little things. Because at the end of the day, the little things lead to big rings. We're bringing David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, my brother, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver, Blaine Crain, who some people say has a lisp.
David, you polled today, too, if you wanted to know.
No, don't do. We give him too much power.
Yes,
we give him too much control.
I have little power, but I know how to use the little power.
David, back to the main thing outside of that egregious poll. If you do look at A&M in their first year under Mike Elko, they could do something that they were trying to pay Jimbo Fisher half the money in Texas to do.
Yeah.
And Mike Elko, again, it's not flashy. It's not sexy, right? It's not going to make all the headlines and tabloids because of what he said or who he's beefing with or this guy got arrested or whatever. They're just doing the little things right, man, and doing it their way. And that, to me, in general is great for a college football team and a football team in general. But for A&M, that seems like more who they are than this, prima donna, dramatic show that we've seen that should have been on, the CW or whatever.
Well, let's just frame it like this. Texas A&M is playing LSU, the top two teams in the SEC, at Kyle Field this weekend. That's a massive matchup. And I think there's some people across the country that are saying, well, Mike Elko's in his first year, so how high can the pressure really be for Texas A&M to win right now? Guys, I'm telling you, Texas A&M, if they win this one, if you beat LSU at home, you're going to then play Auburn, you're going to play New Mexico State and South Carolina, 3 very winnable games before you host Texas, their first year in the SEC, in College Station, with not only a chance to go to the college football playoff, but maybe go to the SEC championship game and win it in Mike Elko's first year. Those implications are massive. And then for LSU on the other side, think about this. You win this game, you go into the sole lead in the SEC before you go into a bye, and you get to host Alabama in Baton Rouge. I can't think of anything better for this weekend.
Well, and it's a driver's seat game, but most importantly, and we're going to get to the LSU side of this, obviously, with Tim Brando, too. I don't want our LSU fans in the audience or in the chat or listening or watching to think that we're just going to make this one-sided. We're not. But when I look at A&M and LSU both, but for A&M, let's run this ground ball out with the schedule that you brought up, because I think it's a great point. This is the ultimate insurance game to me. Because think about this if you're A&M. If you beat LSU with 3 SEC games left? That's what you said, and then a non-conference against a lesser opponent, right?
South Carolina on the road, New Mexico State at home, Auburn on the road, and then you host Texas.
So let's say you win this game, and you're undefeated the rest of the way until you play Texas. You're automatically pretty much in the SEC championship game. Because think about it. Yeah, Tennessee has 1 loss in the SEC. Yeah, because there's no divisions anymore. Yes, Georgia has 1 loss in the SEC, but they got to play each other. One of them is going to be eliminated, right, with the 2 losses. So even if you lose to Texas, or you maybe lose to South Carolina, or you maybe lose to Auburn and then beat Texas, you're basically automatically guaranteed a spot into the SEC championship game. Now that question becomes, if you're a 10-2 team that makes the SEC championship game, if you lose that at 10-3, do you still make the college football playoff? That's a discussion that we've got to continue to watch play out before we can have an answer to. But Blaine, when you look at this from A&M's schedule standpoint, if you win this one, I wonder what percentage that puts you at winning the SEC. Because again, Bama's got 2 losses in the league. Texas already has a loss, right, in the league. So to me, when I look around, and Ole Miss already has 2 losses. It could be a scenario where LSU and A&M may play twice. If A&M wins this game or LSU wins this game, and then they both went out the rest of the way, they're going to see each other again.
No, I wouldn't be surprised by that. Right now at this point, this is both these teams' Super Bowl. LSU's, Texas A&M, you can talk about Alabama-Georgia matchup. You can talk about Texas-Georgia matchup. This LSU A&M matchup is going to be a lot different than what people think, too, because it's not going to be your flash to put up a lot of points, in my opinion, type of game. It's going to be who's front 7, one can stop the run game, and who can get to who's quarterback. And we did analysis of it the other day, but what you brought up in your monologue, which I thought was extremely correct, what Mike Elko has done, not only just his first year in such short little time, right? You see what happens when you bring a guy in, one who's built defensively and likes to run the ball. That will win you the big games this year in college football. You're seeing Tennessee do it. You've seen all these great teams do it. But what Mike has done so far at A&M, I don't think is getting talked about enough because Jimbo Fisher.
Because it doesn't create headlines other than the
Jimbo
wins.
Fisher, all the money in the world, all these recruits in the world, this high, complex offense. Mike just came in, made everything simple, stupid. We're going to stop the run and run the ball, and we're going to give Connor Wegman the keys to it, but not to enough to where he can burn everything down, and we have comfortability in a backup to bring him in. So, man, I'm just telling you right now, this Texas A&M team has not been talked about at all, and they're leading the SEC.
Which is, I think, the perfect scenario for them, David. That's exactly what they need, because it seems whenever A&M is in the headlines and it's this high-flying production, it reverts back to 8-4 A&M. Mm-hmm. You know, the one that everybody makes fun of. How do you change the narrative? You change the culture. And that's what Mike Elko has done. Which Connor Wegman do you think we're going to see on Saturday? Because we've had a drastic change. Even looking at the Mississippi State game compared to the Missouri game, then compared to the Notre Dame game. I think we're going to see the best version of Connor Wegman at home in a big game against the LSU defense that we're going to talk about this later has helped this team achieve balance.
They're going to need to have the best version of him against this LSU defense, and that's been one of the most impressive things for me about LSU is their defense. And I think you brought up a good point because I was laying out the scenario on, hey, if you beat LSU at home and you're able to run the table until you play Texas, even if you lose that one and you're 10-2, well, the flip side of that is, well, what if you lose this one and you lose to Texas and maybe you drop one of those SEC games on the road, which you could, then you're looking at the 8-4 Texas A&M that everyone always talks about. But an interesting scenario when I heard you playing this out, I just wanted to talk about is, what if Georgia wins out, which they could, and their only losses to Alabama.
So Tennessee's out. So right? Tennessee's out.
They beat Texas, and then Texas wins out, right? And their only losses to Georgia, and then Texas A&M wins every other game except losing at Texas, right? And the Notre Dame game is out of conference. So then you have a three-way tie there where Texas beats Texas A&M, but Georgia lost to Alabama but beat Texas. That could be an interesting scenario.
It could be. If you ask A&M fans this right now, and I want to ask the Texas A&M fans this because this is a fascinating part of this 12-team playoff to me. If I told a Texas A&M fan, and we want y'all to call in today, 1-855-236-3228. We want y'all to call in every day. The phone lines are going to open at 2:45. But people handling the phone lines back there in the production room. If an A&M fan calls in and has an answer to this, I really want to hear it. Would you rather, as an A&M fan, if I said right now, you are going to finish 10-2 overall, not make the SEC championship game, which Texas A&M has never played in, therefore has never won, but I guarantee you an at-large in the playoff spot, or I would say, you know what, you're going to finish 10-2. All right, we'll leave the SEC championship game up to it, but if you lose the SEC championship game at 10-3, you don't get in the playoff. Which one do you think they would take? Or would they take the risk of being 10-2 in the SEC championship, knowing that if they lost, they wouldn't make the playoff? I wonder which one most Texas A&M fans would take.
I'll say they take the playoff.
I take playoff.
The at-large bid, probably?
Yeah, like the guaranteed at-large for 10-2. If I said, all right, listen, you're going to beat LSU, but you're going to lose to Texas, and then Texas is going to play Georgia in the SEC championship game, but you're going to be 10-2, and that is a guaranteed at-large spot right in the playoff because you beat LSU, you got good wins that can go in there. It's not like the Missouri situation where if they're 10-2 with a loss to Alabama, it may get a little bit iffy because they don't have that great win. That's a scenario we've never encountered before.
I wonder what the 10-2 would be. Are you saying that in that scenario
they lose to Texas
or they lose to LSU?
They lose to Texas. Now I know that may have some bearing on what their decision is because they want to beat Texas. Either way, let's say it's either way. Let's say either you lose to LSU and you beat Texas, or you lose to Texas and you beat LSU. Mm-hmm. Either way, you're 10-2, but you're not in the SEC championship, therefore can't lose it to go to 10-3, and that 10-2 automatically gets you in the playoff. I wonder which one they would take. I think it's a fascinating question. We want to hear from you guys. Going to get to the chat in 1 second, but maybe you want to bet one of those futures of A&M making the college football playoff, or LSU, or Boise State that's got a huge one right against UNLV this week, or hell, Cone, even Pitt, who's undefeated right now that I don't think enough people are talking about. And you know what? I think Narduzzi wants it that way. If you're going to bet on any of that stuff, you want to bet on Major League Baseball and the World Series, NHL, the NBA just tipped off the new season, and then obviously, what we got on the football realm and even politics, you need to head over to betonline.ag to place your bets today. Use promo code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, when you do it, and you get a 50% sign-up bonus of up to $250. Plus, BetOnline is tossing a free 100 spins in their casino for all who sign up ahead of this year's presidential election, which is November 5th. It's right around the corner, people. That's betonline.ag. Use that promo code BOOSTER. Get that 50% sign-up bonus of up to $250. Website's really, really easy to maneuver. Whether you want props, you want to put parlays in there, teasers, however you get down. Like I said, regardless of sports and even politics, BetOnline.ag is the place to be. I just made that up, but y'all can use it. I'm not going to get pissed about it. Let's get to the chat.
All right, chat, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you donate, it's on topic. It will get read. We're going to start the day off with Landon Baran. What's up, Landon? Says, I'm excited for this one, fellas. LSU has to stop the run game, and I feel like if they can do that, it'll be a guaranteed win.
Who do you trust more? But Blaine, I'll throw this one to you. Who do you trust more if the run game doesn't work? Garrett Nussmeier or Connor Webb?
I mean,
because we've seen this LSU offensive line be really good in pass pro, and the run blocking not be great. We've seen A&M; they ran it great against Missouri, but this LSU defense, they're playing together.
If this game turns into just a throwing competition, you have to to LSU.
Plus the wide receivers.
That's what I'm saying.
And tight end.
With Nuss and the wide receivers. I will say this. I mean, from a secondary standpoint, Texas A&M, one of the best in the FCC, probably from a depth standpoint and talent standpoint. So there's a little give and take there, but if it does come down to a throwing match, I mean, you got to give the nod to Nuss and Kyron Lacey and the boys, right?
I mean, yeah, I did have a friend of mine who's a big LSU fan that's really tapped in there. I was texting him this morning. I was like, what is your biggest concern as an LSU fan? And the answer kind of surprised me because it had nothing to do with defense. He was like, Nussmeier's done such a great job protecting the ball lately. It almost feels like he's due to have one of those games where he doesn't. And I can understand that. When you have an anticipatory thrower like that, like he does, who does it so well and trusts himself to do it. And Garrett Nussmeier thinks he can make every throw. And why shouldn't he? He's shown the ability to do a lot. But even talking with Moscona before the year, there was some worry about him putting the ball in harm's way, especially when there's pressure. So you just wonder, can he maintain? It's the battle of which quarterback, right? And I know this isn't a news story in college football, but which quarterback's going to show up, be able to make the big plays and take care of the ball? And I'll go back to something I said yesterday that we talked about. I think the quarterback's legs in this game are going to be huge because it's going to come down to a few possessions. It's going to come down to 3 to 5 plays. And these drives where you may be stymied on 1st and 2nd down and you're in 3rd and 7 and maybe they're running 2-man and everything's locked up. Both these quarterbacks are athletic enough to run for 8 yards and get a first down, and that's going to be massive. Whether that converts to a field goal or you being able to flip the field in field position, it's a win either way.
Let's go to UT Parking. What's up, brother? It says, when LSU and A&M are both ranked, LSU is 8-0 versus A&M. Let's see if A&M can finally get the monkey off their back.
Yeah, that's a fun little
stat. That's a fun nugget there. I just go back. Y'all know me. I'm not a trends guy. Every year is different, right? Every team is different. And that's one of the things I think Mike Elko is trying to come in here and change. When the moment is the biggest, A&M has faltered in the past. And it's year one. You want to talk about getting off to a hell of a start after dropping the first, big game you played in against Notre Dame at home. This would bury a lot of hatchets and brush away a lot of demons early in his tenure.
Let's go to Harper Winslow. Harper, what's up? Says this is not perceived as Super Bowl for LSU. Bama at home will definitely have more hype. Well, that Bama game have more hype if they come in with 3 losses or 4 losses?
And again, I think, especially in the landscape of college football today and in the SEC in 2024, the Super Bowl is going to change. It may be weekly for as the round robins that we're seeing get played here towards the end of the year. In both instances, though, if you're LSU, if you win this game, that Alabama game is almost a play-in game for the SEC championship for them. Not for Alabama, but for Alabama, you lose that one, that's 3 losses. You're out of the playoff, buddy, even at 9-3 and even though you're Bama. But even if LSU loses this game, you ain't out of it. That's probably the beauty the one thing that both fan bases can agree on in this game is that even if you lose, you're not out of the SEC race. Not out of the SEC race by any stretch of the imagination. You just have to thread the needle a little bit more than you did before, and you're not going to get that insurance game. But even if LSU loses it, now that Alabama game, to me, becomes even more important because then you have to win it to put yourself in a position to be in the SEC championship, other than wanting to win it, but understanding that if you don't, you're still in it with 1 loss in the league.
Yeah, I mean, the significance of this matchup does not diminish LSU and Alabama.
No,
that
not
game
at all.
Cannot be diminished.
Not at all.
There's a reason they have a bye week. Both programs have a bye week the week before they play each other. And this is the first time LSU plays Alabama since Nick Saban retired. Best believe everyone's going to be ready for that one in Baton Rouge. But when you're looking at Texas A&M and you're looking at the SEC standings, you say, wait, this is the team we're tied at the lead with and we play them in College Station? Yeah, they're going to be fired up, ready to go for this.
It's going to be a fantastic matchup. David, let's go ahead and move on here to let's talk a little Florida State Miami.
Oh, you want to go Florida State Miami? Let's do that.
Miami, then we'll
little ACC, not the luster that we usually
tell everybody what you were saying. You grew up obviously, keeping track of Florida State, but just what we were talking about before the show a little bit about how finally when Miami gets to this point, it's just, can you just talk about
I grew up a Florida State fan, being from South Georgia. My parents met at Florida State. Am I still bitter they didn't offer me a scholarship? That's a discussion for a different day. But
yes.
This was a matchup that I always couldn't wait for every year. Florida State and Miami, both these programs in-state, they hate each other. And we're always, last 20 years like, hey, when's Miami going to get back? When's Miami really going to get back? Now they're back 7-0, and Florida State, you're 1-6? You're 1-6, like to the point where we can't even talk about this matchup until Wednesday, middle of the week. But nonetheless, still in-state rivalry. Florida State can still beat you, right? Like Miami needs to go in every single week saying we can lose a football game if we're not prepared. Mario Cristobal has to have them prepared. With that being said, Florida State's 1-6, Miami 7-0. The spread is 21 exactly right now, 54.5 over/under. What would your message be to Miami?
Well, similar to what you said, I mean, we can't make this game bigger than what it is, right? We have to attack this game the way that we've attacked every game, because I'm a believer in the faceless opponent. You're obviously dealing with human beings, so guys are going to get up for some games. Guys are going to not get up as much for the other games, but it's all about the preparation to me. This is where the old coach comes in. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in you play like you prepare. So if we prepare really well each week, and you make Monday the same, and Tuesday the same, and Wednesday the same, and Thursday the same, and Friday the same, damn it, Saturday's probably going to be close to the same, right? You want to get in that routine. It's like I talked about in the open, being obsessed with the process to get to the result, as opposed to being obsessed with getting the result and not the process. Just looking at this game from a 30,000-foot view, Florida State, it's a rivalry game. Growing up in the Iron Bowl rivalry, I know anything can happen at any point in time when it's a true rival game. And make no mistake, this is a true rival game. It doesn't matter what the records are. And Miami's defense, and that's why we had them 7 in our top 10. And some Miami fans, one was talking trash this morning when I was on Barstool Mincy about how I'm just not down here, on my knees praising Miami like they're the best team in the country. I just think defensively, they've got a lot of problems, and I think a lot of smart Miami fans understand they have some problems. And if they go out here and the offense isn't operating at a full efficiency level, which could happen against Florida State, they may be 1-6, but it's not like they got bad players or they couldn't figure it out one Saturday. And all of a sudden you look up in the second half, and it's somewhat of a low-scoring game, and Florida State's got some momentum, and they've got nothing to lose. That can create a problem. But if Miami goes out there and early throws a couple punches to Florida State, who is 1-6, who is down, who has to watch Mike Norvell answer these questions in press conferences all the time of what happened, and last year you were so great, and this year's a disaster. I think Florida State's got a little bit of quit in them, and I think Miami could take them out early. But the longer FSU hangs around in this game, the more of a problem it becomes. And if FSU gets some confidence early offensively, I do still think they have the ability to put up some points to make Miami a little bit nervous at the end. So Miami's a better team. There's a reason it's a 20-point spread. I'm just with you, man. I'm just disappointed that this is a game that we're not talking about until Wednesday when Miami's doing what they're doing and Florida State did what they did the year before.
You picked Miami to win the ACC, right?
Yes.
Did you pick Miami to win the ACC? So all three of us picked Miami to do something they've never done before. Never won the ACC. This isn't the Big East teams of the early 2000s, but I guess for some fans that's not good enough, I guess.
No, well, it's not. It's just because Miami doesn't send me money. Auburn doesn't send me money. A&M doesn't send us money. We're going to tell you what we really think, and I want to be right. That's the thing. Like I want to be right more than I'm wrong, so I'm going to tell you what I really think. I think Miami, right now, when you look at the top teams in college football, there's a huge question mark, even within their own conference. I don't feel good about my Miami winning the ACC pick right now, to be honest with you. I think Clemson's probably going to beat them in the championship game in the ACC, and they play them. And that's fine. Right. I don't owe Miami fans to kiss their ass. I don't owe Auburn fans to kiss their ass. You listen to this show because we're going to tell you what we really think. We're going to be right more than we're wrong. But when we're right, we're going to tell you we're right. When we're wrong, we're going to tell you we're wrong. So it's tough.
So do you think Miami cruises because Florida State's that bad, or are we in for a football game?
Oh, this is going to be an absolute ass beating. Look, nothing good will come from Florida State until that guy eats dog poop out.
Well, did you see what? No. Y'all didn't see what happened. You didn't see what happened.
I saw some.
There's an update. Somebody stepped up for him.
No.
Somebody stepped up for him.
It doesn't work like that.
I think it does.
It doesn't.
I think it does.
This is not punishment by proxy.
Listen, what did they do in the Hunger Games? Sometimes you got to volunteer as tribute, dog, to save somebody, to save everyone, to save everybody in District 11.
Was it real?
That's fine. Put me in the ring. I'll run and go grab the machete and we'll see what happens.
Not if the person before that did that on their own. Not if they just came up with it on their own.
I disagree.
The only reason old girl did that because they're trying to take her little sister.
Well, she stepped up.
No one made this guy come out and say he's going to eat dog poop. It has to be him.
No, it doesn't. I disagree.
Can we agree that if he really did it, that it counts? It can't just be Moose Track ice cream.
No, he did it. Did you see the video?
I don't know.
I don't want to go into some conspiracy theory about whether it was just dressed up Moose Track ice cream posing as
I've never heard you really not want to go down a rabbit hole of a conspiracy theory.
Well, not this one. But just to the audience, a FSU
like
fan.
The Kansas State fan, that thing happened.
No, listen,
and look what happens.
I think we all became Kansas State fans.
And look what happened.
And look at
then what happened? They're starting rolling.
That's exactly
rolling.
Like that burrito.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on here, David.
All right. Another matchup we hadn't gotten to until Wednesday, and that's Auburn going on the road to play Kentucky. Kentucky 3-4, Auburn 2-5. 2.5 point spread right now. Kentucky minus 2.5.
I'm close to stabbing you.
Am I crazy to think Auburn can win this game?
No, you're not crazy.
You do this every
They got to win something.
Here, let me be right again.
They're not going 2-10.
Let me be right. No. Let me be right again. They're not.
Have
you seen ULM?
2-10?
Have you seen ULM and Bryant Vincent, aka Coach of the Year?
Yeah.
Here's the truth about Auburn. Again, the Week 9 edition. Truth about Auburn. The slump buster of the SEC. But hey, Georgia lost to Bama. Tough game. Who you got coming down the tracks? That's the old slump buster. Here comes Auburn. Again, she's not a 9, right? She didn't look like one of the dwarves off the Rings of Power. Her dad's rich, though. He invented Twizzlers. She's got a great personality. She can tell great jokes.
Her dad invented Twizzlers?
Her dad invented Twizzlers. They're rich. Again, you won't feel good about it in 2 weeks, but for a week you'll feel better. Look at Missouri. Missouri got destroyed by Texas A&M. It was ugly. But here comes old Auburn to make you feel all good inside about yourself. Just that she'll answer your texts. She'll let you buy your drink. Hell, she'll let you order potato skins.
Wow.
Right? So if you're Kentucky, yeah, you struggled since you had your big win, but here they come down the tracks, and here's why. And I want Auburn to win every game they play. Y'all know that. Everybody's a fan of somebody. If you're not a fan of somebody, I think you should be federally investigated. But here's Auburn's problem, and I'll tell you again. The older guys, and Blaine said this multiple times, when the guys who make the biggest moment mistakes on the field have the C on their chest, they're the captains, you know the culture in that program. The older guys at Auburn, and not every single one of them, but most of them, and all it takes is a majority. There's a couple that aren't. They don't know how to win big games. They haven't been able to win them for 4 years. They just don't know. At this point, we know that you don't know. You can't do it. You find a way to lose. Peyton Thorne, these other guys, you can't win the big one. And at this point, there really ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Just beat Bama. That'd be the only way to turn around. But you'll screw that up, too. The older leadership has to get out. And it's on Hugh Freeze, too. He didn't go get a transfer portal quarterback, right? He hasn't made some good decisions from a personnel standpoint. And Auburn is undisciplined and screw up. But a lot of it is on the players and the older group, the leadership. They've just got to get out. Once the older guys get out, you listen to the young guys. The Crawford kid, the DB, said, just hang on, Auburn fans. We're going to fix it. Young guy out there balling in the secondary. You look at some of the other young guys, Riddick, right? Cam Coleman's going to be a good player. Malcolm Simmons, production's really, really high for a young guy. The young guys are the dogs. The old guys at Auburn can't win. They don't have it in them. That doesn't mean they're bad people. That doesn't mean they don't go read books to kids or they don't walk old ladies across the street. But this ain't an assisted living center and this ain't a daycare. It's about winning football games. And they can't do it. They don't have it in them. So Hugh Freeze and them are recruiting a type of person to go to Auburn, right? The Deuce Knights, the Walker Whites, these young guys to come in that are winners, that they don't make excuses. They don't talk about hoping. Hugh Freeze came out at his press conference and said, we play not to lose instead of to win. That's a DNA thing. Within the older guys got to get out. You got to get Peyton Thorne and them out. And it's not just Peyton, it's a lot of them. Get them out, right? And get some winners in here. Some guys, there are no excuses. Some alphas that want the moment, that say, you know what, on 4th and short, please God, have them run it at me. Or please throw me the ball. Let me be the difference maker in the big moment. The older guys that Auburn have right now, they can't do it. And it doesn't make them bad people. It makes them bad football players. And that's just what they are. So I'm going to bet against Auburn again and win again this weekend. Kentucky minus 2.5, best bet on the board. What a great segue. I've been betting against Auburn and with Army for 4 straight weeks, and I feel like the FBI is about to show up at my house because it's the greatest combo ever. Hugh Freeze is going to fix it, and they may go 3-9 this year, which means he's probably going to have to win 8th the next year. But when this young group gets in, they're the ones that are going to have to fix it. And I don't think they got that you-know-what in them like the older group does. They got dog in them instead. And Auburn fans better hope or it's going to be trouble.
Auburn plus 115.
Look,
money line. Talk to me, bro.
Talk to me. Lie to him.
Come on, son. Talk to me.
Here, lie to him again, Blaine.
Plus 115.
Lie to him again.
Hey, the reason the Auburn's going to win, I think it's because of the older guys.
Come on. Talk to them.
They got it in them.
Oh, they do.
They got it in them to win the big game.
The Kentucky game. That's a big one.
The biggest one on the schedule. It's
this week,
not our
because
fault.
it's the one this week.
It's not our fault. Kentucky's the next guy up.
But hey, look, if you're going to the Auburn-Kentucky game, and God bless you if you are, we know there are a few things better in life than being at a live sporting event. And whether it's going to a game, going to a concert, if you want the most efficient way to buy tickets, I'm talking best seats for the best price. Being able to go log into an app and filter through not have to filter through all the fluff, get straight to the great deals. Our friends at Game Time have you covered. I'm telling you, this is one of our favorite sponsors. Like I said, they filter out the fluff to show you incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Like here in Nashville, for example, we get concerts all the time, obviously, the home of country music. We got the Titans. The Preds are playing right down the street. We got minor league baseball. Regardless of what the sport, Nashville, Vanderbilt, about to be lit this weekend with Texas coming to town. Who thought we'd have said that when it comes to football? Game Time is the app you need to use to get your tickets. One of the best perks of their app, all right, the Game Time picks on your favorite events. They let you show you the view from your seat before you sit there, which I think is huge. There's not a column in the way that you're going to know what you can see when you buy the tickets. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Here's how you do it. It's really simple. You download the Game Time app. You create an account, and you use code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, for $20 off your first purchase. Again, you create an account, you use code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, and you get $20 off. Download Game Time today. I'm telling you, check it out. Regardless if you're a sports fan, music fan, it doesn't matter. What time is it, fellas?
Game
time, guys!
I didn't like the way y'all said it. It sounded very condescending. Very condescending. Can I just say one more thing?
I don't want to hear from a guy who has
David, I'm going to tell you what. I've always wondered, what it would be like to poison someone's food, and you're really
always wondered that?
beating a bush.
Yeah,
I have.
That's questionable in its own right.
Yeah, that is. Well, at least I don't have a lisp. I do want to say this. I think the coaches are doing pretty much everything they can, right, to not, and they're not going to say the obvious truth, and they don't need to. But there's some Auburn fans out there who don't want to hear the truth. They're like, every time you say anything bad about Auburn, they're like, you hate Auburn. That's not helping us at all. Well, you're right. Never punish your kid. Just no tough love. Tell them everything's great. Sure. Eat another Reese's.
Yeah, it's 2024.
Yeah, sure. Don't go outside. Sit in here and watch TV. Sometimes you need the truth.
There's some strays that don't need to be thrown. I don't think Reese's need to get brought into this.
Yeah, that's true. It's at Halloween.
I'm going to let your niece have as many Reese's as she wants.
Well, my niece? You mean my daughter?
Your daughter, sorry.
Yeah,
your niece.
Yeah. Been through a lot today.
Wow, you really fumbled the bag on that one.
You know what I meant.
I won't respond with Vince Vaughn's line.
Let's get to the chat quickly. I want to get into some of these early best bets.
All right, let's go to $5 donation from MPB. What's up, brother? It says 1, Auburn will not lose. 2, what the heck is Hugh Freeze not doing at Auburn that he did to have success at previous schools?
Well, he doesn't have the players in there right now that he did when he was rocking and rolling at Ole Miss. Liberty's a little bit of a different situation with the schedule. And again, I hope I'm wrong. I hope Auburn wins. Just why would I believe they're going to win? Like, what have you done to prove to me that I think you're going to win? Why would I put money? Why would I bet money? Are you talking about my hard-earned money?
Yes.
That I got to pay the mortgage with?
Plus
and the Powerball? I'm going to bet on Peyton Thorne and Auburn to go win?
Come on now.
And maybe they will. But that'll be the first time I've been wrong in like 6 weeks. So I'm still going to be in the green.
You haven't been wrong in 6 weeks?
About Auburn.
Let's go, dude.
Yeah.
Let's check with Reed.
Yeah, right, loser.
No, she's loving it.
Let's go to DJ. DJ, what's up? He says Auburn can win and should win, but they won't because they have a losing culture. It is sad, but it is true.
Well, you agree with me then. There we go. Handshake. One more.
All right, let's go to a $5 donation from Shane. Appreciate it, Shane. Huh? Jake has a lisp. I guess he's the new cable guy. Hashtag oh Billy.
Was that our cousin Shane or no?
No.
Well, okay, then I can tell you this. I don't have a lisp. And don't you ever say that again, Shane. Don't ever say that again. All right? There's not many Shanes in the United States. I'm sure I could find you if I have to. But speaking about find, I think I found the 4 best bets on the board this weekend, Kev.
What do you have?
All right. And we've been hot on these. All right. We've been hot on these. I just don't know how I don't take the Washington at Indiana under 53.5 that I can get at minus 112 right now when Rourke's probably not playing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Washington offensively, Will Rogers, right, looked amazing against Michigan, but they haven't exactly been blowing it out of the water on offense. I think Indiana realizes they're going to have to probably win this game with some small ball with the backup quarterback in there. I love that under at 53.5. And then listen, get in the boats and shut up. Navy plus 14.5. That's on an alternate line. You can get that at minus 137. Notre Dame is going to be, this is like the 12-5 matchup in college basketball. They talk about it all the time, but it typically never works out. It's the other 12-5 upset that happens. I think Navy covers 14.5 at minus 137. Then give me James Madison. Southern Miss doesn't have a coach or a purpose right now. James Madison's pissed off after losing to the fighting David Cones at Georgia Southern. Give me JMU minus 23 at minus 132. And then why would I not buy Vandy up to plus 21? I can get it under 150. I can get it at minus 145. Give me the Commodores at plus 121. And don't be surprised if they pull off a dub. That's right, I said it.
Do you like the under in the Notre Dame and Navy game?
What's it at, you know?
It's like 51.5
or
something.
Yep.
You like the under in that one?
Yep.
I didn't look at any best bets today, so let's check out some of these lines. We're doing this in real time, boys. I still like Alabama minus 13.5. That line hasn't moved. That's
boo, hate it. Don't know why
I like Illinois plus 21.5. If Oregon comes out, now this game is at Oregon, so if Oregon comes out and beats Illinois in a top 25 matchup by more than 3 touchdowns, I think it's time to start putting Oregon on alert.
If you're Illinois,
they may go undefeated.
If you're Illinois, do you run the ball more than what you've done in the past to try and limit possession?
And look, let Altmaier run it.
Yeah.
Let him run.
Why not?
I mean, he's scrambling well, but let him run with quarterback design runs. What else do we like this weekend? What about what's the Colorado line at right now?
I hate betting anything Colorado unless it's over.
Colorado hosting Cincinnati. Right now it's minus 5.5. Darby Lou's going to be out there for
Colorado or Cincinnati?
Aflac. Right now, Colorado is minus 5.5 against Cincinnati. I'll tell you what, this is one of those ones I like. Cincinnati plus 5.5 for the same reasons that I would like Colorado plus 5.5 if the line was flipped exactly. I think we're looking at a field goal game or maybe a 4-point game.
That's good. That's an interesting matchup.
That's going to be a good one. I don't know how I feel about the over-under in that one, 57 though. But Colorado hosting Cincinnati at home. If they win this one, they're going to be bowl eligible. You'll probably be ranked after this one.
Oh, they want
Colorado
for sure.
Wins, you'll be ranked. And look, they're already favored against every other team they would face in the regular season. Right now, that's going to be a really interesting scenario with the Big 12, just like we talked about on yesterday's show with Kansas State having 1 loss and with BYU.
We're going to bring Timmy B on in a second, but I swear he knew what we were going to show him today. I swear with that sweatshirt he's wearing. This was not set up. Timmy B, I'm going to tell you in 1 second. Quickly, guy with the list to my right. Blaine, what are your favorite?
I don't have a list.
Yeah, you do. You have a list. Everybody hears it. Everybody knows.
So, want bets quickly?
Quickly.
Okay, yes, I like the over 47.5 in the Penn State-Wisconsin game.
No chance.
Some points will be there. I also like Vanderbilt plus 21.5. Look, UL Monroe wagon this year.
Wagon.
Plus 7.5 on the road against South Alabama. And give me Ole Miss minus 19.5 in that disaster against Oklahoma this weekend.
Woo! Oklahoma. Listen, we tried to tell y'all maybe next time y'all listen, but maybe you'll be better next year. But a guy who's the best every year. He's going all around the world today. If the world was just the United States during this time of year, and he does it during basketball season pretty much all the time. Our buddy Tim Brando, Timmy B, as usual, we are blessed with your presence, my friend.
Well, I'm blessed to be here. Thanks for having me. You know, I'm continually reminded by fans every time I come on podcasts about, you know, how irrelevant my career has become because of all these nobodies that I keep showing up on to discuss college football. And I'm like, really? So coming on and being a part of podcasts has suddenly been bad for my career? I don't think so. And no matter the size of the podcast, and yours is awfully big. I mean, yours is a streaming show. You're big time, all right?
No, shoot.
I'm always happy to be on Crain and Company.
Well,
always.
Timmy B, I'm going to say, to those people out there, number one, they're probably not in the Hall of Fame of anything. And if they're that stupid, They're just peanut butter and jealous. I mean,
would y'all go so far as to say they're elitist?
I would go as far as
Are they elitist, Timmy B?
I would.
I'd say so. I'd say so.
Timmy B, we love you coming on, man. Again, you're one of the best that there's ever been, and anybody that says that is,
how many subscribers did you have when you began the J-Boy thing? When you started all that?
Less than 5,000. Less than 5,000. It's again, and it's been thanks to people like you and David Cohn and a little bit of my brother for helping us out. Yeah. But Timmy B, I want to start. We started the show talking about this A&M team and Mike Elko kind of, avoiding the drama, making it about ball. I want to talk about this LSU team with you, and I want to ask you a question. I've said this on multiple shows, and I believe it. I think this LSU team overall is better than the one from last year. Not that they're better than Jaden Daniels and as elite as they were offensively, but from a complementary football, special teams, defense, and offense, I think this LSU team is better than the one last year. What say you?
Totally agree. Couldn't agree more. And I think the fact that guys like Weeks have begun to emerge, and they have. He's not alone. There are several others, but I think it's maybe a backhanded compliment to say that they're doing this or doing better without Perkins is maybe wrong. I think they just sort of evolved. Look, college football is a game of evolution, and I never thought that LSU would be so bad that I couldn't rank them preseason. But you know what? I didn't rank them early, and I tell you why. I didn't know that Blake was going to make this kind of a difference, but he has. I think it's more of a relationship situation than it is about X's and O's. I think he's got guys playing hard for him, and I think that's been really the issue. They weren't necessarily playing hard for the coordinators that preceded them, and Brian Kelly is a guy that sees his position as a head coach as that of a CEO, and he wants to give autonomy to his coordinators. And I don't know that they were worthy of that autonomy a year ago, especially on the defensive side. And now they are. And you've seen them emerge. And, people were going crazy after that USC game. Well, look at you now. Look at you now. Those of you that were saying, he's nothing more than a miserable cockroach, to go back to Scarface days. The bottom line is the guy knows what he's doing. He's a hell of a coach. And I don't think there's any question that both he and Elko have a real understanding of command and relationships with their players. That's how Elko got the job. He did the same thing at Duke, and it made a world of difference there. I'm intrigued by that game. And, this is one of the very few times this year that I've gotten to dodge the airport. My wife and I are going to head down Interstate 20 to Fort Worth and see a rejuvenated TCU team that suddenly found their defense against Texas Tech, who, after a disastrous game against Baylor last week, has to right the ship quickly. And they're still in the Big 12 race. They are, with a 3-1 record. But when you look at my weekend, I get to drive, stay out of an airport, go to the game, call the game, get back to the hotel with my wife and watch LSU and Texas A&M. So, and I think it's the game of the weekend. I know Navy and Notre Dame. I know Navy and Notre Dame, for obvious reasons, is getting a lion's share of attention. But the winner of this game, I'll just say it now, I think the winner of this game is going to be a college football playoff team. Yeah, I believe that.
Well, and Timmy B, to your point, but before I kick over to DC over here, I think sometimes people have a misconception of what playing hard really means. That there's some guys that play really hard but make selfish decisions and take chances outside of the framework of the defense, trying to do somebody else's job. To me, playing hard, and I used to tell my guys this all the time, is doing your job as hard as you can humanly possibly do it, as fast as you can possibly do it, as fundamentally sound as possible as you could possibly do it, but trusting your teammate to do his job as well. And even without Harold Perkins and some of these guys that have gotten hurt, it seems to me like LSU is playing hard for each other, not hard for the individual. And that, to me, is a huge change of stopping offenses and being able to be productive as a defense.
And more in today's climate, Jake, more and more in today's climate, that's what it's about. Okay, if the coach is on an island and he's talking at the player, he's not going to get as much out of him. And you'll see that when there are moments when something really good happens and the coach comes over to congratulate the player and the player doesn't want to have anything to do with it. You see that. I've seen it happen in some practices from time to time. But in a game, it's highly noticeable. So, that's one of the reasons why even with the X's and O's problems, I've said this before about the Les Miles period at LSU. Yeah, his offense was antiquated, and they still won a lot of games despite that. And the reason was his players played their ass off for him most of the time. Most years, those guys really played hard for him. He had that Bo Schembechler, Michigan quality about him. And I'm sure, David, from your Michigan days, how guys talked about Bo and how much they loved him and how much they played for him. And he could be a cantankerous old, coot from hoop from time to time. And he was with me on the sidelines as a young reporter in 1986. But you couldn't help but really be charmed by the guy once you dealt with him for a period of time. And I think that's really the essence of the Blake relationship with the defense at LSU, especially. And BK, to his credit, he takes the hits. He never says it's a coordinator issue with his coaches. People have said about him in the aftermath. Well, you heard it. Remember when he was banging his fist in the aftermath of the game with USC, how we let this get away? People came after him like he was throwing his players under the bus or that it was staged in some way. It lacked authenticity. That may be true in some people's minds because he's been around for such a long time and gone through an evolution himself. He used to go after players in the middle of the game, and he doesn't do that anymore. And if Saban were still coaching, I don't know how much longer he could do that. Yeah. Okay. And I'm going to tell you right now, when you see coaches losing it on their players during the course of a game, a lot of fans like that, particularly in the conservative South. But I'm telling you, it's a recipe for failure down the road. You're going down a slippery slope when that begins to happen. And that's exactly why Kalen DeBoer is in trouble at Alabama. People want him to be Nick, and he can't be. Mm-hmm. First of all, he's not him, and he doesn't have the skins on the wall that Nick had. Mm-hmm. And in today's climate, you cannot coach like that, not regularly.
Yeah, I agree. You don't have the control.
Tim, I was in the room for Coach Schembechler's final speech the night before he died. It was one of the coolest moments of my life, honestly. Wow. And two points here before I get to an important topic. One, thanks so much for always coming on. It's an honor every time we have you. And two, I love hearing you call football games with my friend Devin Gardner. That's really the highlight of my week. I wanted to pass that along because I see you guys always interacting on social media too. I want to talk to you about officiating in 2024, okay? And I want to set this up completely here before you respond. Mm-hmm. The first thing, Control Room, do we have the clip of UConn coach Jim Mora this week? If we could play that where Tim can hear it, I'd like to play that first.
Yeah.
I'm proud of them for fighting back. We've got to make sure that we put ourselves in a position where it doesn't come down to one play where an ACC team makes a horseshit call against an independent. And that's up to us to play better at the start of the game so it doesn't come down to that call, which was holding and PI. And that's what I told him, and we'll come back and we'll fight. So it's on us to play better earlier, but it'd sure be nice if it was a level playing field.
Questions, anyone?
Jim, obviously the way it came down is not...
Yeah, it was a hold and a PI. Hold and a PI.
Did you get an explanation from anyone?
Here's your explanation. ACC versus independent. There's your explanation, Dom. It's pretty simple. All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Tim, I do want to set this up completely, though, because this is not a one-off. This comes on the heels of several teams in the ACC feeling like they've gotten robbed against Miami with a couple close calls at the end of the Virginia Tech game and so on, and thinking, the ACC's, the conference leadership is all in to make sure Miami goes undefeated, even though both of those calls I thought, they got right ultimately. And then this also comes on the heels of Texas officials overturning a call in Austin against Georgia, even though the call got right at the end. Obviously, fans throwing stuff on the field, it's a dangerous precedent. Yeah. You've been watching college football longer than any of us here and most people listening. So I just want to know from your perspective, are officials just the scapegoats anytime a team loses here? Or is there anything that's problematic right now in 2024 officiating that you haven't seen in years past?
The circumstances are problematic. but on a much wider scale in the landscape of college football. And that is, we need a czar. We need someone that can remove the veil of impropriety with these deals that are made in home and home situations. And in this case, let me tell you, Jim doesn't have to worry about a commissioner calling him, right? That was obvious. He doesn't have to worry about that. If any other head coach representing a conference said something like that, obviously we're talking about, a six-figure fine coming his way.
How much is Kirby going to get fined for saying that they tried to rob him?
Yeah, don't get me started on Kirby. Okay, my God.
I didn't mean to hijack the question. Keep going.
But the bottom line is, fellas, when I say college football needs a czar, I'm not just talking about the college football playoff and the egregious nature of the gerrymandering that takes place and was proven to be the case a year ago with Florida State. I do think we'll have similar stories this year with maybe a one-loss BYU, a one-loss Iowa State, or a one-loss Miami or Clemson, okay, versus a three-loss SEC team that finishes fourth or fifth best in their league, or the Big Ten for that matter, if they happen to have a team that's metrics line up so much better than those particular schools that don't carry the brand names. I'm talking about the way the game is officiated on the field, not just what's going on in the smoke-filled rooms, okay, when the Cardinals are in conclave, while game day is doing a filibuster for said team that Greg Sankey wants to see get in over Florida State, which was the case a year ago. And I don't give a damn who I piss off when I say it. We need a czar for college football, not a guy that's making the TV deals. The commissioners of those conferences, they are the ones that work on a daily basis, and they are the ones that serve at the pleasure of the presidents. But the people that govern college football need to be smart enough to know that moving forward, if you want to maintain the game's integrity on the field and off, if you want to limit situations like that. By the way, what Smart said, I will give this to Kirby, what he said about the dangerous precedent being set with the overturn, the point being made there to some extent has some merit, because until we have a czar that's playing the role of a Roger Goodell that can settle this stuff down when we have issues of this magnitude that are impacting the outcome of games that could have a reflection on the way the college football playoff is put together, then it's going to be this kind of thing over and over and over again. Pass interference or offensive pass interference is a subjective call that is defined during the course of a game, much like a block charge is in college basketball. And it's all and it's one way or the other. And there is a level of consistency to it most of the time. I don't think that was necessarily the case in the Georgia-Texas game, but it's something that players and coaches have to adjust to. So to your point, what can be done about it? College football and its leadership needs to understand that moving forward, not just with the business of college football, with the game itself, we need someone that's overseeing everything that's gone on so that we remove the veil of impropriety for the protection of those that have the best chance of cashing in at the end of the year. And until such time that happens, this is going to go on. And oh, by the way, the adoption of betting in our country and in this sport has already been seen to be problematic. And if you want to sell into betting, you better also understand that you've got to do something to maintain the integrity of the game on the field.
Well, David and Timmy B, to me, having the czar, not just to fix problems when they arise, but to bring in fresh new ideas. And Blaine, I want to give you some credit for this. You were talking about this before we came on the air today. Why is it so hard, if we're going to have the complaint about AC, because I think that is BS, that the conference of the affiliated with the team that's playing gets to officiate the game when the other team isn't in the same conference. To me, that's like saying
it's been that way forever.
It has, but it still doesn't make it right. You know what I'm saying? So, like, to me, that's like saying, all right, well, you're going to take the ACT. You get to take it at your middle school right, or your high school where you go, but we're going to let this other girl's parent who doesn't go here proctor the test.
Yeah, but with the ACC right now, and that's I understand why Coach Moore is upset with that, where the ACC fans right now are saying, wait, we're in the same conference as Miami, but y'all just want one of the teams to stay undefeated so badly that you're favoring them on calls so that they make the college football playoff. I don't think necessarily that's happening. I'm just saying I've seen enough of it that I thought it warranted a question.
Well, to me, that's an argument of not the nefariousness of why you made the call because you're from the same conference as one team. That's like a fight in the house as opposed to a fight out the house. That's just about you favoring a team within the conference. But why can we not, in a billion-dollar industry in college football that has these Hall of Fames and these humongous stadiums and these hundreds of millions of dollars TV deals, one of the most important elements of the game are the officials. Why are they not full-time employees? Why do we have ACC officials? Why do we have SEC officials? Make them full-time employees, not selling State Farm insurance half the year, and then going and calling the damn UConn whoever game. Like, let's just have everybody.
Let me take you back to what just happened not quite 2 weeks ago, okay? The Oregon-Ohio State OPI story, okay? Remember that? Okay. So much was made of that in the aftermath of it. And prior to that play, we had 12 men on the field, and Dan Lanning, decided to, because he didn't like the question. The only reason Dan Lanning was as authentic as he was is because one of the questioners in the press conference dared to say to him, you brought out a 12th player with man-to-man coverage. He was like, no, we had a guy over the top. We had him protected. His football mind, no, I didn't do that. We had a safety over the top. We weren't in zero coverage. I mean, it was so authentic. All right. He said, we practiced this before. It was a rule that he knew existed, and he had practiced how we are going to do this to make sure that we get it right and take the penalty as opposed to be in a position where we could lose the game. And it turned out, what happened? The NCAA immediately, Steve Shaw, who's in charge of NCAA officiating, said, we're fixing this and we're fixing it right now. Well, he can do that. He can enforce that rule. It's a little bit like a president, instead of asking for congressional help, making an executive order. That was an executive order from Steve Shaw. Well, we should have that when it comes to rules in college football. Have you ever looked at who makes up the rules committee for the NCAA? It's garbage. We got people that have no dogs in the hunt whatsoever that get involved in what should be points of emphasis. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And what are the referees doing in these games? They are serving at the pleasure of what? The supervisor of officials in their league. Again, their league. Not serving at the pleasure of all of college football.
Yes.
They want to work, so they're taking care of their said supervisors. Steve Shaw left the SEC for an opportunity to make a bigger difference. I think that ruling was an outstanding one. And it's a lesson that the guys like Sankey and Petiti and Yormark and all these other commissioners, Jim Phillips, should understand. Let Steve Shaw be your final voice.
Yeah.
Let him assign these officials. And let's put these officials from all the different conferences into a national pool. And they're going to have to travel a little further now.
Yeah, we can afford it.
It may not be as convenient. So you may not have 4 out of how many officials from Birmingham down in T-Town to call the Alabama game in the SEC. 2 blanking bad. We're going to add some integrity to the game. And that's something that needs to transpire. And the sooner it takes place, the better. Fellas, this has been going on for 30 plus years. Okay. I was on the phone once with Mark Womack, who was the associate commissioner of the SEC, after I had said something pretty disparaging about SEC officials while I was on the air.
No, not you, Timmy
Imagine
B.
that.
Yeah.
Imagine that. It was Johnny Majors was still coaching at Tennessee, and they're playing Auburn. Clock is winding down after completion, and the clock should have been stopped after the first down. It wasn't, and they let it play out. And I absolutely, and Bino was with me in the studio, we absolutely nailed it. I mean, we nailed it. And Mark called, and I've got nothing but respect for Mark Womack, still do. But Mark got on the phone with me, and he was like, Tim, this is just not something that, Commissioner Kramer's it's going to be tough. And I said, Mark, listen, I love Roy Kramer, okay? And I love the SEC. but I said what I saw.
Yeah.
And nothing is going to make me unsee that. And so he says, well, what you're doing is you're undermining the integrity of the officials. I said, so be it. You guys are putting them in a position to be undermined.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was going on in the 80s.
Yeah.
So it's still going on. There's so much about college football that has gotten better, so much that's improved, including what we're doing with the postseason. But by God, fellas, what's going on, these issues that we have on the field have been there for generations, and we have to update it. Just like these commissioners need to update the nebulous and god-awful lack of criteria that we have with the selection process of the 12 teams. And you know what? I'm not just a time and temperature play-by-play guy. And no SEC fan, just because I'm not calling your games doesn't mean I'm not watching your games. So I'm going to talk about the SEC every bit as much now that I'm at Fox as I ever did when I was at CBS or ESPN. And if you don't like that, put it in your peace pipe and put it where the sun don't shine.
I love it, TB. All right, Blake, what do we got?
All right, let's go to LB. LB, what's up? He wants to know, #Ask Timmy, is anyone playing better than Whit Weeks right now? I think he's the best linebacker in college football.
Well, I don't know that I'd go there. I'd say he's the best linebacker LSU has, and he's been their most valuable commodity from a defensive standpoint. And his emergence is just incredible. That play made at the end, with the tip and the catch. I mean, that was just an incredible play. I kind of tell you, it reminded me a little bit.
Say it. Honey Badger?
Go back to Georgia.
You going to say Honey Badger?
You guys know and love our old friend from ESPN that was kicked off game day, Georgia Bulldog, a Gwinnett County boy.
DP.
I'm sure you remember Pollock made plays like that all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, all the time. And Weeks looked a lot like David Pollock, I thought, on that particular play. Even though Pollock didn't play the same position, he was a rush end or linebacker, if you will. But Weeks made a tremendous play. First team All SEC, I'd say that's in its future without a doubt.
No doubt. Well, Timmy B, hopefully you're in our future once again. Love when you come on, my friend. You do a hell of a job. Where are you going to be this week? Let our audience. Oh, you already told us you're you're going to be able to dodge the airport too for the TCU game. But man, thanks so much for coming on again as usual.
You got it. And Devin and I are on a 6-day hold again, waiting to find out what Big Ten game we're going to have the following week. I think we'll get back to Fridays, maybe in mid-November. But I think we're going to be on Saturdays for the next couple of weeks. So
can't wait to watch you, brother. You're the best. Appreciate you, Timmy B.
All
right, Tim Brando, the best in the business, a real responsible man.
Yeah.
Before we get to the phone lines, I want to talk about being a responsible man. All right. Now, y'all probably hear this ad read every day, but I'm going to give it to you again. All right, because it's worth it. All right, your health is important. It's important. All right, it is important. It's important. It's super important. All right, if you want to sharpen your brain, all right, keep your heart and muscles strong. All right, support your immune system. Our diets today, let's be honest, we know you stopped at Checkers on the way home last night, right? Probably Sonic.
Ew!
All right, something like that. Oh, sorry, it's too good.
You stopped at Checkers?
Yeah,
we got a milkshake.
Too good for the upper class.
Or the green pill.
Yeah, well, with Responsible Man, it's a multivitamin that has 33 key ingredients. Listen, ladies, if you want to make sure your man's getting what he needs, all right, in that category, you need to check out Responsible Man and give it to him. David, you take it every day, and hell, you're 6'9".
Every day during the ad read for proof.
For proof.
Receipts.
You're a
And
giant.
the proof is in the pudding. And it's got a nice minty smell to it. And right now, you can take advantage of Responsible Man's fall sale. Get 50% off your order. Or just, what?
Nothing.
God, you're so
I never
dramatic.
get came to when it comes to ad reads.
Yes, you do. I mention your name all the time.
My physique
Just you
is
and
better.
David sitting
My
in a
physique
tree.
is
No, that's all right. Or you get the first order for just
Don't even
$19.99,
I take my-
right? If you get off your high horse, like my brother over here, when you head to responsibleman.com and use code BOOSTER at checkout. Yeah, David, show them. But hurry, this deal won't last long. Remember, America needs strong men, and strong men start with Responsible Man. Responsibleman.com. Use code BOOSTER to boost your immune system and other stuff. Let's get to the phones.
All right, phone lines. Let's see who's up first today. Looks like it's Chris in Georgia, my home state.
Dang it.
Chris, what's going on, man?
Chris.
Don't you let me down, man.
Chris.
Oh,
Coming to us from the Peach
how
State.
you doing?
There he is.
What up?
Yes, sir. Man, this is exciting. It's my first time calling in.
Appreciate it, man.
Did it.
Welcome to it.
Did it, Chris?
Dude, Michelle, The first question I got to ask is, what the hell is Mike Bobo doing? Like, what is he doing?
I know he's from Georgia.
Mike Bobo,
Seriously, me and my dad were watching that game on Saturday, just screaming at the TV, like, run the ball.
Yeah.
Trevor Etienne, he was averaging 10 yards a carry on his first 6 carries. Those 6 carries happened over the course of the first quarter and a half. So he ran the ball 6 times in like the first quarter and a half.
Yeah.
And he continues to try to put the entire burden of the offense all on Carson Beck's shoulders. And that's clearly not working. I mean, Carson Beck is playing the worst we've ever seen him play. And it's all because everything is on him. We're getting away from our identity. We've always been a run the pass team, and now it's the opposite. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, Chris, let me throw this at you. Think about this if you're Mike Bobo heading in this game against Texas. You're watching the film. I mean, Kirby even said defensively they look a lot like the best parts of us when we're at our best. They've been shutting down the run, and Georgia struggled to run the ball. So when you're game planning going in this game, you're thinking, listen, we're probably going to have to pitch backwards a little bit. We're going to have to throw this thing around. You're telling Carson we may have to supplement the run a little bit with the pass, whether that be intermediate or short passing game. Then you get in the game, right? And you're running it, and it's working. How much do you trust it to keep working? And you want to have that balance because you know Texas is going to start funneling resources to stop the run. But, Chris, I agree with you. Mike Bobo is not perfect. I think Monken's a lot better. Now, Monken had better pieces. But I wonder, too, and Cone, I don't know if you've noticed this. Do you think Carson Beck has 2 plays? Do you think they're giving him 2 plays in the helmet? One run, one pass most of the time and saying, go to the line, call what you like?
Probably, yeah. Well, I haven't seen him do a lot of the hot route audibles. Do you think they should just go more single play and just take the burden of decision off of him?
I don't know, because Carson Beck at this point, you should be able to do that. Right. Like, this is why you were a first-round draft pick. This is why everybody's gassing you up. You got to be able to handle that.
Yeah. Chris, let me just ask you this, because anybody who complains about Mike Bobo, I ask them this. How long have you been a Georgia fan?
My entire life. I'm 25.
25. So you were old enough for the first couple stints of Mike Bobo, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So this isn't your first rodeo.
Yeah. No. Like, they're very well versed in the Mike Bobo situation. But Chris, listen, what a great high class problem when you can call in and complain about the OC after you just beat Texas's ass,
the number one team in the country
on the road by 15. I would love to have those problems. We can't even at Auburn. We can't even win a spring game right now, and y'all are doing that and being able to complain. What a great situation to be in.
Thanks, Chris.
Great call.
Well,
call in again, Chris.
I'm just saying it's not sustainable if we're going to keep playing like this. If Carson Beck gets those 3-4 interceptions,
that is
can't
true.
Play like this every game. And I mean, it's our identity is run to pass, and clearly Carson Beck can't handle the entire load that we've been dumping on him. So I just think we got to switch it up.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Great call. Call in
Your
again.
Your thoughts, Blaine?
Stop. You're like 11 years old.
What?
You really are 11 years old.
First of all, we're not even talking about that, and you're messed up for even thinking about that.
Oh, it's my fault.
Right? It just must be nice.
Must be nice, huh?
Beat
the number one team in the country.
Call in and
I'm so pissed at us after that 15 point.
We
game.
suck.
That's how you set that standard.
We suck.
That's how you set that standard.
That is true.
That's why they're 2-time champions in the last.
Why do you think Bama fans are so pissed right now?
Exactly.
But sooner or later, I mean, when is too much too much?
Are Bama fans angry? I'm seeing
that too
Brian
much?
Williams is painting his fingers orange after they lose to Tennessee, and
Culture
Bama fans
problem.
are like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Who
Culture
cares?
problem, David.
They're saying
I
who
don't
cares?
have time.
They're saying it doesn't matter.
We're hitting crossovers on 4th and 1.
All right, well, let's see who's next. Let's go to Addison in Indiana. Addison, big one for the Hoosiers.
Please
man.
be
Are you an Indiana fan?
And remember, I said if an A&M fan calls in, make sure they get through. I want them to answer my question from the beginning of the show.
What's up, Addison?
I love how I look back there like they can see me.
So, no, I'm a Michigan State fan.
Ugh. You're not taking Paul Bunyan. He's right there, and he's staying there.
Hey,
Well,
how we feeling, Addison?
Sorry,
How we
but
feeling?
I got a stat line for you that I need to talk about.
Yeah,
talk
stats,
about
numbers.
Yeah, tell David
I already don't
Tell
like
him.
where it's heading, Addison.
So, Aiden Childs, to start off the year, first 4 games. Florida Atlantic, Maryland, Prairie View, and Boston College. Was 63 of 116, 891 yards, 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
Yeah.
In the last 3 games versus Oregon, Ohio State, and Iowa, he's 45 of 66, 577, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
No, I don't like that.
So the defenses have gotten significantly better. He's stopped making as many mistakes, and he's gotten more efficient.
Well, hold on. Here's what I want you to do. Read me the stats again from the first 4 games. Just the completions to attempts. Read it.
63 of 116.
Okay, now do the last 4.
45 of 66.
He's thrown half the passes, dog. That's why there ain't as many mistakes.
You're not
He's
wrong.
thrown half the passes.
But they won. They beat
well,
Iowa.
Yeah, they did. They did.
We beat Iowa.
Yeah.
Well, you also beat FAU.
Significantly better.
Look, man. Golly, they're really going to beat us, aren't they? Little brother, Sparty's
Look at what you're wearing
We're going to let Sparty.
Look at what you're wearing today.
Yeah, and they put me in this.
Yeah.
They put me in
Addison,
this.
he's wearing.
not play hard.
I got a lot of questions.
If you had the
as to what's going
opportunity
on
to
in
win
the
that
wardrobe
trophy,
department.
would you not play hard?
Should I
Would
take
you
this
not
off
put
right
it all
now?
on the line for some guy in tight?
It's already. It's too far gone. We
That's
got 20
already on the
minutes.
line because I have a bet with Booster Club member Ben Everson over Sparty, over Paul Bunyan.
That's
and I
right.
can send him out of here if they lose.
Addison, give us
Dang
the
it.
score of the game right now. I'm writing it down.
This game could be anything from Michigan by four possessions, Michigan State by 3 possessions.
So
The only
8 to
thing
nothing?
Gonna be is a barn burner. I'm going to call Michigan State 31, Michigan 21.
31?
You hear that, Coach Moore?
52
31.
points?
You hear that, Mason Graham? We got Sparty fans
31
coming in here
to
just
21.
thinking they're going to come into the big
Addison?
house, down that tunnel, and stomp up.
Addison, bro, if y'all score 31, there's going to be a lot.
This has got
of questions.
17-13 Michigan written.
Oh, no, not even that. You're overselling.
No.
This
We
is
just beat Iowa, which is the blueprint to beating Michigan.
It's going to be 13-9 Michigan. That's what it's going to be. And what's the spread?
You think
4?
Michigan's going to win? 4.
13-9, pick 6 late in the game.
Will Johnson?
No,
I thought he wasn't
He's not
playing,
throwing a
David.
pick
He might
six
not
in
play.
No pick 6. He's not
3-4
throwing a pick
games.
6, dude. Sorry about them, bro.
No, all right, Addison. We'll see. I got it
right,
written down
Addison.
right here, bro.
As long as there's no,
Right
as long as there's no
That's all for it.
fumbled punt to end this one, then I should be able to live through it at least.
God, that was a disaster. People are still laughing at y'all about
Yeah,
that.
what a stupid.
Hey, honestly, though,
No
like,
one's laughing about it.
did that make you feel better about the App State game, though, that more people talk about that now? That'd make me feel better.
My head hurts so much right now with everything you're saying.
Okay, I'm sorry,
Would you
David.
just please stop talking.
Okay, I'm
with the
sorry.
sentences you're forming.
David.
Caleb in Philadelphia, can we talk about something other than Michigan blowing big football games?
Yeah, we could talk about the Philadelphia Eagles blowing
All right.
up the New York Giants.
Yeah, well, it's how do you?
And look, I just don't like Nick Sirianni. Say what you want, just don't like him.
I don't trust him.
I mean, I don't think he should have shaved his head, but
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, Saquon Barkley ran 180 yards, and
Did you see Sirianni go over to Saquon and say you're 13 yards from your career high? Do you want to go get those? And he said, because I was going to put the young guys in, take all the starters out. And Saquon said, let the young guys eat. I'm good.
Well, Saquon's been hurt so many times, probably like not risking it. Nope, no chance. And I don't blame him.
Listen, I'm on a whole new high because Sixers lost to the Knicks and Phillies lost to the Mets, so I'm on a whole new high with this two win streak right now.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were about to say you're in Philly and you hate Philly teams and you're on a new high, but the Eagles are turning it around. We'll see if they can keep going. I just don't trust Jalen Hurts. Dog.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust my team after we beat the Giants. It's like Auburn in football.
Can you
But
imagine?
it can still feel good.
Yeah,
Feel good this
for
week.
sure.
Can you just imagine if you got in a time machine and went back 200 years ago and you're like, yeah, I still don't trust our team even though we beat the Giants. And they're like, y'all there's Giants?
Beat them like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I don't know, Caleb. We'll see.
All right, appreciate it, Caleb.
Sorry for Jake
We'll see,
wasting your
man.
time there at the end of that.
No.
We
That was a
I
appreciate
tell
nice
you,
story
Ben, just
that-
count
that-
count
Thank you.
the clock's
Appreciate it,
ticking.
Caleb.
Enjoy
All right.
that dinner tonight.
All right, we're going to stay in Pennsylvania. Let's go to Chuck. What's going on, Chuck?
Hello, fellas. How you guys all doing?
Chuck, what's up, man?
What's up, dude?
Well, there's so much I wanted to say, but Timmy killed it.
Yeah, he did.
He hit on every. I have said, I'm 68, so I've said for a long time, you guys are all embryos, that we don't need affiliated referees in college football. I've never understood it.
Yeah. Well, if this was 1950, I could understand it. But we're in 2024. This isn't gangs in New York. That's exactly right. Elon Musk is landing rockets upside down on ramps in the Indian Ocean. We can't put together a commission of officials and just put their ass on a plane. All they do is work out. Let's look at them.
Yeah, but we like taking the coal train, you know.
That is true. We're like, yeah, hey, we can do this, but yeah, it's like we were talking about having robot officials, but you still got to use a zip line to throw the flag. Like, can we just?
But in defense of the referees, after two of the most egregious challenge calls back to back, the Oregon Ohio State game and then the Texas game last weekend, 2 weeks in a row with mud on their face. But let me defend them in one way. These rules are so convoluted. You know, we used to have a cheer. We used to say, rah, rah, ree, hit him in the knee. Rah, rah, ras, hit him in the other knee, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know where to hit a guy today. I played defensive halfback. I wouldn't know how to make a tackle half the time today.
Yeah. I agree with that. But it's not even just that. Really, what's pass interference? Like, really, what's a catch? Like, I don't think we even know. I've watched instances. The most egregious to me isn't the calls when the play is happening in real time, because those can be tough. I mean, in basketball and football, those guys are going so fast. It's when you review it, and it's obvious what happened, but they don't change it. That's the part that blows. That's what makes me think that y'all got something riding on it. That's the part.
That's the other half of the problem. When they go to a 5-minute review and still can't get it right.
Yeah.
It's killing the game. I mean, all these delays. They got to get this shit
You're right.
together, because many years ago, I'm going to let you go. I'm sitting in the cheap seats. I'm a sophomore in high school. I'm watching my older brother scrimmage for my high school against the school across the Hudson River, Scarsdale, whose son, Frank Gifford's son, was on that other team.
Oh wow!
And Frank Gifford looking like a movie star, sitting there about 4 spaces from my dad. My dad's like the great Santini. It was a bad call, and Frank got upset. The ref blew a call, and my father said to him, "Well, you don't matter how good you are, you can't win if you can't beat the Zebras."
It's exactly right, and it's such an integral part of the game.
Yeah, but Monday Night Football, 3 days later, Frankie used that line. Isn't that great?
Yeah, that is.
It, Chuck.
Great call,
Thanks so much, man.
Y'all make the right decision up there in that state.
All right, let's go to Nick in Texas. Nick, are you an Aggie fan?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Nick, what's up? Are you a Texas A&M fan?
Yeah. I'm born and bled that maroon and white.
There we go. Well, let me ask you this quickly, and ask your question. But I asked this at the beginning. Would you rather right now, if you're walking home from, I don't know what you do, and you probably have a car, but let's just say you're walking home and you see a bottle on the side of the road, and you're like, damn, that looks like a genie bottle, and all of a sudden you rub on the bottle. All right, I'm going to try to make that look as normal as possible. And a genie pops up and he says, hello, I'm a genie.
Why is that?
And he's an Italian genie, okay? And he goes, I'm going to give you the option. You can be 10-2 and lose to one to Texas or LSU, not play in the SEC championship and be guaranteed a spot in the playoff. Or you can be 10-2, right? Have a spot in the SEC championship with a chance to win the SEC, but there's a possibility if you lose and you go 10-3, then you don't make the playoff. Which one are you choosing?
I'm taking the playoffs.
Okay.
But as long as the second loss is to LSU and not to Texas.
And that was the caveat, David, that you brought up. Okay.
I'd rather just beat Texas.
I respect that.
Yeah, that's especially with Elko's first year, man, and the rivalry back on.
And them taking y'all's baseball coach.
How do you feel about this weekend?
I honestly, like, with Wegman
nervous
being but it's such a crazy year in college football that, like, typically I'd be pretty confident just because we're at home, and the Aggies always get up for LSU in College Station. So, and the penalties, they really take a toll on the Tigers when they get.
Well, give me a score of the game.
I go
Let's do 27-24 Aggies.
That's exactly the score away from the other day. It's what it's going to be. All right, Nick, great call. We'll see. Call in later and we'll figure it out.
All right, we're going to stay in Texas and go to Adrian. Adrian, what's up, man?
Adrian, what up?
What's up, boys? How y'all doing?
What's up, dude?
man?
Hey, not much, man. Calling in Aggie here, just calling in to talk about this whole playoff berth. Yeah, give me the playoff berth all day, man.
Okay.
And I don't give a damn if the Texas win, Texas loss is any. Give me the berth. I'll take the loss to Texas. If in the bigger picture, our boys are getting to the playoffs.
The duality of fans.
Who really cares about SEC champions?
Well, see, here's my thing, though. A&M's never won it. This is what I was saying about Ole Miss. This is why when people come out and they're like, oh, conference championships don't matter anymore. Well, if you've won it before, then I can understand that. Like, if you gave me that choice for Auburn, I've watched Auburn win the SEC before. Get our ass in the playoff. Like, if I haven't, though, if I'm A&M or I'm Ole Miss or I'm Vanderbilt or I'm somebody who had, I want to get that too. I want that environment. I want that. So it's an interesting situation to me, but I don't blame you at all for wanting the playoff berth. And you don't even care if it's LSU or Texas as the loss, is what you're saying, right?
No, I don't, man. And
I don't blame you.
I want to beat that team in Austin just as much as an ex-Aggie, but I mean, it's got to be bigger picture, for these guys and get into the playoffs. So.
How about this, Adrian? Oh, sorry, 1 second. Adrian, how about this? I know in the current format, if you win a conference, you automatically make the playoff. But just take that out of the hypothetical for a second. Would you rather win the SEC championship or make the playoff if it wasn't an automatic bid?
Make the playoff.
Wow, even over winning.
If you want to make the playoffs, championship games really don't matter.
Well, we're 1-1. Well, you say that we're 1-1.
Yeah,
I mean, when it comes down.
Make sure I'm right on this. Kyle Field. It's going to be a blackout for this game, right? It's a night game. Like, that place is going to be electric.
Is A&M wearing black uniforms? Are they wearing black uniforms?
I'm pretty sure I saw some on A&M doing a blackout, right?
Oh, God.
Man, sign me up.
It's a blackout. Elko.
How many fights?
They all already been posted, yeah.
How many fights are going to be outside of the stadium with LSU? It's a 6:30 kick. You got LSU fans and A&M fans. Both are leading the SEC.
After all the crazy games we've had.
This is basically
Georgia, Texas, the Alabama, Georgia. This game, LSU versus Texas A&M, will probably be the craziest.
It's gonna be like never back down 3 is what it's gonna turn into outside. That's all right. Give me a score, Adrian. Give me a score,
Adrian.
Man, let's go 28-16 Eggs, of course.
20-16.
See, that feels right. That just feels that feels like the right temperature for the porridge.
Yeah, it does.
That's what it feels like, right?
Appreciate it, Adrian. Man. All right, anyone else on the line, please call in tomorrow. We'll get to you then. Blackout in College Station. Better than the brownout that they were playing.
That is true. But if you're going to black out, actually drink responsibly.
Didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't either.
What, browning out?
Yeah, to our producer.
I didn't even know that was a real thing.
Our producer told us about it.
She told us about it.
Maybe it's not even
a friend of hers.
Yeah, maybe it's just her thing.
Yeah. Her friends thing.
Crazy.
All right, last night, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I love football. It's my favorite sport. But what took place
Speaking of browning out.
In the games last night, the Sam Houston FIU game. I love the Vice uniforms FIU. That was awful football. And UTEP and La Tech, that was just awful. It's just bad. That's one of those where I felt like I was, what's that movie where he like holds the chick eyes open and makes her watch? Like I felt like that.
Come on, Clockwork
We Are
Orange?
Marshall?
Clockwork Orange? That's a dude.
We Are Marshall? At what point in that movie does that happen?
My bad. It's before the plane crash.
Good God.
All right.
I'm going to get to bets. It's only a Wednesday.
All right.
Tonight.
we got
guys
2 more days
open.
of this.
Let the boy watch.
We're going to talk about the fear.
All right. Middle Tennessee State, plus 21.5. Right? I mean, we're...
Middle Tennessee State, plus 21. Right? Yeah. Don't try to convince us, buddy. We're listening to you. You got this.
I'm taking Middle Tennessee plus 21.5 tonight at minus 131. And then Kennesaw State. Woo. Listen, they suck. All right?
Yeah,
listen, I know they try hard.
Bad.
I know they try. They're bad. But I think tonight against Liberty, who's good, not great, right? They're good. They're probably going to go undefeated, but the schedule's not good. I think Kennesaw State shows up and loses by 28.
Okay.
Let's have some pride.
Okay.
Let's have some pride. Give me Kennesaw State plus 28.5 at minus 1.
All right, let's thread this needle because I'm going to go ahead and take Liberty minus 26 at minus 112.
Weird needle.
Give me the over in the Middle Tennessee Jacksonville State game. Over 61.5, odds minus 140.
All right, I love it. Pull mine up. I'm going Liberty minus 25.5. Give me Liberty or give me death. That's going off at minus 115. Give me Middle Tennessee State plus 20.5. It's going off at minus fun 10.
All right, nice. Let's go Ace. What does he got? Liberty and Kennesaw State over 47. That's at minus 110. Then riding the Lightning, Middle Tennessee State, also known as Mitsu.
Bet buds.
Damn it.
Plus 21.5.
Bet buds.
Let's get it. All right, let's get to the donuts.
All right, if you donated today, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. $10 donation from Stephen Diggs. Appreciate it, Stevie. Class of 24 here. Would be happy with a 10-2 and in the playoffs. Having paid $90 million for Jimbo Fisher and could not do this, Elko is the correct choice and is already showing growth. God bless and gig 'em.
Hey, was the night? What if I told you, David? What if I told A&M fans that it's going to cost you $90 million to hire the guy that's going to be the good luck Chuck guy to the guy who wins you the championship? Would that be worth it to you?
But yes, that sounds like a story I might be interested in.
Nice.
Yes.
I like that.
Cool.
At
Entourage.
the end of the year, you still go 8-4.
No.
$2 donation from David. Appreciate it, David. No, Jake doesn't have a list.
Thank you, David.
Not even a little bit.
Thank you, David.
$5 donation from David Cohn for Prez. Blaine stutters.
He does.
No, I don't.
Yes, he does.
So shut up about it.
You're like oh boy.
Shut up about my
You're like the
boys'
Penguins'
list.
assistant. You're like
Sorry,
Victor.
Can I read this donation? Shut up about my boys' list. Sorry, Jake. It is true though.
Wait, someone thinks I should be president?
Yes.
I love when your dad gets in the chat.
Yeah. $5 donation from the sir. Appreciate it. All French men have lists. Jake lists how we
have a
can
list.
be sure he's a French spy.
Well, sir, you sound like a doll that got wound up.
Hey, dude.
What?
All right, $5 donation from TJ. Appreciate it, TJ. Miami, Clemson, and SMU don't play each other. Let's say Clemson beats Miami in the ACC championship and all in with one loss. Do they all make the playoffs?
No. I will say this, though. You said the three-letter word that I'm not talking about.
SMU.
Stop.
SMU.
Stop.
Conference champs.
Don't jinx it. Let that. I'm telling you, if that happens,
you'll be the only person who picked it.
After all the hell I caught, you might as well turn that app off, that bird app off.
You will be the only person who called.
I'm just praying. Just, hey, let's keep it going. Rowing the boat. Rowing the boat. Rowing the boat.
$10 donation from Pokey. Appreciate it. Level up today, boys. Blue 42, kicking asses like I'm 21, then limping around like it's 84.
Let's go.
Shout out to my wonderful wife for dealing with me for 13 years of them now and giving me 2 great kiddos. Congrats, man.
Congrats.
$5 donation from Auburn football. Here's your money, Jake.
$5? That's it? That's not good enough. We'll talk about it.
$5 donation from the B says, David, what bet did you lose to wear that Michigan State green sweatshirt today?
I didn't think you realized.
Of all weeks, they got to put me in this. I've got to go talk.
Did you realize when you saw it in wardrobe that it was green? Did that even register or no?
No.
It ain't a rivalry.
It
ain't a rivalry.
Which tells you that I am off my game. Hey, real talk. I'm not making this up, man. You weren't allowed to wear red or green in the weight room or in the Michigan facility at any time of the year. When I was playing at Michigan.
I love that.
Red or green. So much so that I saw a recruit's dad walk into the weight room one time with a red sweatshirt on, and Mike Gittleson, the strength trainer, said something to him.
I love it. And the name Mike Gittleson, God, I bet you guys were jacked.
Vietnam vet.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Vietnam vet.
Like, we may not win the game, but we have traps set. All that.
I still can't talk about all the things.
$5 donation from Dev. How do you put Notre Dame team over that lost in Northern Illinois over a BYU team whose only loss is a conference championship game?
You don't.
There's your answer. $5 donation from Aiden Tremaine. Appreciate it, Aiden. I've left my hibernation after the Texas loss. Horn's going to roll Vandy, and then Big Brother's going to show up to C-Stat and beat that ass. Hashtag BT.
24-hour rule. Sometimes you got to lay down and bleed a while, but then guess what? Surprise, it's Diego Pavia running magic tricks over there.
$2 donation from CE says, thought Jake was post-stroke on college football addiction. Loving what I am seeing.
Post-stroke?
Post-stroke, dude.
On college football addiction?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but are you okay?
Wait, he said he likes the show?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. That's all here.
All right, if you donated today, thank you so much. Let's get to the poll. Does Jake have a lisp?
Is that really the poll?
Yeah. Yes or no?
Well, you know what I think.
I'll say no, 58%.
I say you can kiss my ass, Blaine. That's what I say.
So I automatically.
Jake, what's the poll?
Huh? Don't know, Blaine. What is it? Why don't you tell us?
Just give us an answer. Dude.
Okay, Forrest Gump's cousin.
Don't take this out on me.
No, I'm not taking it. You're the one that made the poll. I brought it up, and you're the one that wants to celebrate it. I'm going to say they said yes because they just want to be mean. I don't know what the percentage is.
All right, it's yes. 66%.
Wow.
No, 34.
Yeah. Told you how to listen. Don't worry. I got a poll.
It's my fault, though.
I got a poll this week.
It's my fault.
Yeah. I got a poll for you. Anyways, appreciate you guys. If you donated, thanks. Everybody in the chat, appreciate it. Blaine, good job not stuttering too much reading some of that. I know it's tough for you.
Don't be mad at
Shout out to Bet
Don't be mad at you.
Shout out to Bet Online, Game Time. Responsible man. Be a responsible man.
Throw it up.
And like the chances of me having a list, we're going.
The reason you do that Lou Holtz impression so
gone. Good. Yeah, well, you're starting to look like.
What's up, guys? It's Jake.
Yeah, I got a mustache and I'm a child predator.
Sucker and succotash. I can't see good.
What's happening?